marketplace, including pharmaceutical, food, technology, and more. Trading is essential for global economic prosperity and resource allocation. The study covers economic, industry, fundamental, technical, and portfolio trading to evaluate each company's performance. Investments, such as stocks, bond, real estate, and commodity are financial commitments to earn income or profits. All investment carry risk with the potential for significant returns if successful.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Rusha Farmiti Jupri with my matric number 3554. So today I will be present about the economic analysis. So firstly, we look into the inflation. In the case of Malaysia, the annual inflation rate in May 2023 was recorded at 2.8%, which show a decline from the previous month's rate of 3.3%. This figure was also lower than market expectation of 3%. The 2.8% inflation rate in May 2023 represented the lowest reading since May 2022. This decrease can be attributed primarily to the further slowdown in price for transport, which increased by only 1% compared to the 2.3% recorded in April. And it is a positive development as lower inflation rate can contribute to greater purchasing power and improve consumer affordability. It also indicates stability in the economy and effective monetary policy measure. Okay, next we will look into the gross domestic product, which is GDP. So GDP is a widely accepted measure used to measure a country's economic performance. Malaysia's economy continues to expand for the sixth consecutive quarter. The pace of growth has moderated. It highlights the importance of monitoring key indicators such as private consumption and fixed investment to understand the underlying factor influencing the country's economic performance. Okay, next we will look into the unemployment rate. So, unemployment is an important economic indicator that reflects the state of the labor market in the country. In Malaysia, the unemployment rate in May 2023 was recorded at 3.5%, which marked a decrease compared to the same month a year earlier when it stood at 3.9%. So this decline, a positive development as it indicates an improvement in the job market. During this period, the number of unemployed individuals in Malaysia also decreased by 8.3% compared to the previous year, reaching 584.6 thousand people. This reduction in unemployment demonstrates a growing number of job opportunities and a decrease in joblessness. Okay, next we will talk about the price change in crude oil. So the figures show the price change in crude oil over the past 5 years. From 2019 to 2023, the price of crude oil experienced significant fluctuation with a maximum value of approximately 7,000 Malaysia per ton and a minimum value of 2,000 Malaysia per ton. It indicates that the oil price was volatile from 2019 to 2023. The impact of this price fluctuation extends beyond just oil-related companies. The entire economy of Malaysia is heavily dependent on the oil industry, and any change in the price of crude oil have far-reaching consequences. The drop in oil price has caused a ripple effect throughout the country, affecting various sectors and industries. Okay, lastly is about the Malaysia export. This observation highlights the positive relationship between Malaysia export and the fluctuation in crude oil price. By referring to the trend of crude oil price, it becomes evident that any significant change in the price of crude oil directly impact Malaysia export. This correlation emphasizes monitoring and understanding the crude oil market when analyzing Malaysia export performance. Initial drop and subsequent rise in export impact the purchasing power of the Malaysian currency, the ringgit. As the export performance weakened initially, the value of the ringgit also weakened, making Malaysia goods relatively cheaper in the international market.
Assalamualaikum and hi, I'm Siti Jerami binti Muhammad Rashid 28864 and I will explain about industry analysis which is for Apex Healthcare Berhad, Spritzer Berhad, Bonia Corporation Berhad, Bumi Armada Berhad and FSPN Holding Berhad. I will explain the growth cycle industry and the competitive position about this company. growth cycle of industry of APAC Healthcare Berhad, they have own distinct growth cycle in the healthcare sector. Next, they also have new technologies that are more efficient and simple to use are emerging at this introduction stage and emergence in healthcare services and treatment. And lastly, the healthcare industry achieve stability and market saturation during the maturity stage, which is the final stage. For the competitive position for Apex Healthcare, they have diversified portfolio, robust distribution network, quality and innovation, and strategic alliance with a reputable international healthcare provider. Next for Spritzer Berhad. Growth cycle of Spritzer Berhad is due to shifting customer taste, medical advancement, or technology development. New product or beverage segment appear in the introduction and emergence stage. Next is growth stage follows. The business expanded quickly as bottled water and other beverages became more popular with consumer. Lastly, for maturity is when the market for bottled water reached a point of saturation and the growth rate stabilities. Competitive position for Spritzer Berhad is quality and safety are the primary consideration, developed solid brand recognition in Malaysia, a vast distribution network and sustainability initiative. Growth cycle for Bonia Corporation Berhad is the introduction and emergence stage are where new retail trend, concept or segment developed in response to change in customer preferences, technical advancement or market opportunities. Next, the company multiplies during the growth stage following the introduction stage as a consumer demand for fashion and lifestyle products rises. Lastly, the final maturity stage is when the retail market gets more saturated and the growth rate stabilities. Competitive position for Bonia Corporation Berhad is fashion and lifestyle sector, vital contributor, extensive retail network, and lastly, developing distinctive and fashionable product. Next company is Bumi Armada Berhad. Growth cycle of Bumi Armada Berhad is various critical stage in the growth cycle of the oil and gas sector, including businesses like Bumi Armada Berhad and other developed nations always follow each stage. Next, after oil and gas reserves are found, businesses create the necessary production, infrastructure and growth their business. And the maturity and optimization stage is the last but not the least. The industry reaches a stage of maturity and optimization as production rises. Competitive position of Bumi Armada Berhad is storage and offloading units FPSO and offshore support vessel fleets, record and experience and technology expertise. FSBM Holdings Berhad, which is they have new technology, software solution or business process management services arise in the stage due to technology advancement and changing company requirement is their growth cycle of industries. Next is growth stage. The need for a solution and BPM services is quickly rising as organizations become more dependent on technology. And the final stage is maturity, during which the BPM market become more established and its growth rate stabilities to take advantage of market opportunities. And the competitive position for FSBM Holding Berhad is the Information Technology and Businesses Process Management (IT/BPM) sector. The fundamental driving forces behind the growth of these industries are experience and industry expertise, and last but not least is top-notch services and upholding customer satisfaction. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Syamil bin Sulaiman, matric number 288196, and now I'll be presenting about the fundamental analysis for each of the company. So firstly, for the activity ratios, we can see that Apex Healthcare Berhad, Spritzer Berhad, Bonia Corporation Berhad, and Bumi Armada Berhad follows a similar pattern for the asset turnover, receivable turnover, and inventory turnover, which for the three order activity ratio will decrease when entering 2021 and then increase little bit in 2022. Meanwhile, for FSBM Holding Berhad, it is the only company which asset turnover and receivable turnover increase consistently for each of the 3 years. Now for the liquidity ratios, we can say that for Apex, Bonia Corporation Berhad, Bumi Armada, and FSBM Holdings, all experience from the current ratio, quick ratio, and cash ratio all differs, but can be said that they are all experiencing an increase and then decrease in 2022. But for Spritzer Berhad, it can be said that it experiencing decrease for all the current ratio, quick ratio, and cash ratio for all the 3 years. Now talking about the leverage ratio for each of the company. For Spritzer Berhad, all the equity multiplier, debt to asset ratio and debt to equity ratio increase for the 3 years. Then for Bumi Armada Berhad, the equity multiplier, debt to asset ratio and debt to equity ratio all decrease for all the 3 years. For Apex Healthcare Berhad, Bonia and FSBM, there is a volatile says some of the increase for all 3 years and some increase and then decrease, and then also there is a pattern of decrease and then increase, and there are also pattern of consistent for all of the 3 years. Now we're talking about the profitability ratio for each of the company. For Apex, Bonia and Bumi Armada, we can say that return on asset, return on equity and net profit margin all increase throughout the 3 years. For Spritzer Berhad, it follows the same pattern for return on asset, return on equity and net profit margin, which is it will decrease in 2021 and then increase back in 2022. While for FSBM, we can see that a pattern from decrease and then increase for return on asset, and then there's pattern of increase and then decrease in return on equity. For net profit margin, it also decrease and then increase back in 2022. For the last ratio, we're talking about the common stock ratio. For Apex Healthcare Berhad, for the EPS, we can say that increase for all 3 years. For price earning ratio, it then decrease for all the 3 years and then increase back for the payout ratio for all 3 years. For Spritzer Berhad, the EPS can be seen as to decrease and then increase back in 2022. For the price earning ratio, decrease consistently. Then the payout ratio increase and then decrease back in 2022. So for Bonia, you can say that for the EPS increase throughout the years, and then the price earning ratio increase and then decrease in 2022. And for the payout ratio, it consistently decrease. For Bumi Armada, you can say the EPS increase throughout the years, then price earning ratio increase then slightly decrease in 2022. Then for FSBM, the EPS decrease and then increase back in 2022. Then for the price earning ratio, it decrease and then increase back. But although it is increased, it is in negative amount, so it is still in a bad condition. Now moving on, we'll be talking about the intrinsic value for each of the company. So firstly for Apex, we can see that intrinsic value for both 2023 and 2024 is more higher than current price, meaning the stock price is undervalued. So for Spritzer, we can see that the intrinsic value is lower than the stock price, meaning that the stock price is overvalued. Then for Bonia, we can see that the intrinsic value is much more higher than the stock price, meaning that the stock price is undervalued. Then for Bumi Armada, we can see that the intrinsic value is more lower than the stock price, meaning the stock price is overvalued. And also for FSBM, it also overvalued because the intrinsic value for 2023 and 2024 is lower than the stock price. That is for me. Now to the next presenter.
For the technical analysis for company Apex Healthcare Berhad for MACD on 23 June 2023, the MACD line crosses above the signal line that's also called bullish, so it's typical technical buy signal. For relative strength index, on 7 June, the relative strength index plunged down below for a long period of time, which is undervalued, indicating the asset price has fallen noticeably. For moving average, on 7 June, the moving average price is slightly above the average price, suggests that the asset price may be on the rise. For support and resistance, the support level is around RM2.34, the resistance level is RM2.59. The support volume is 6.9 higher than the resistance volume, which is 1.8. For company Spritzer Berhad, on 7 June, that the first day we bought the stock when the MACD line gets slightly above the signal line that shows the bullish point. For relative strength index, on the 18th June, the relative strength index broke below 30, indicating that a bearish divergence is occurring and the price is rising. For moving average, from 7 June until 11 July, moving average price is rise above average price, demonstrating the price of the item is likely to keep increasing. For support and resistance, the support price is RM1.4, while the resistance price is RM1.49. For support volume is 10.8, is higher than the resistance volume is 10. For Bonia Corporation Berhad, MACD, on 7 June, it occurs that the MACD line was below the signal line, or we can call it bearish point. For relative strength index, on 7 June, RSI previously fallen below 20, climbs back up into the between 17 or 13 area. It can be said that selling pressure has subsided. For moving average, from 7 June until 15 July, the moving average price across both the average price. It showed that the average difference between the current price movements and the historical average price is larger. For support resistance, the support price is RM 1.74, lower than the resistance price is RM 1.85. The resistance volume is 32.1, surpassing the support volume is 40. For Bumi Armada Berhad, MACD, a signal is considered to be a bearish when the MACD line crosses below the signal line. It signals when stockholders should sell their holdings. Relative Strength Index, on 7 June, RSI is predicted to rest and remain stable for some time after it spiked back up to expensive category. Moving average, from 7 June until 1st July, the moving average price fell below the average price. This points to a possible price decline for the asset. For support and resistance, the resistance price is RM 0.5, surpassing the support price is RM 0.465. The support volume is 1470.2, lower than the resistance volume is 1659.4. For FSABM Holding Berhad, MACD, it was bearish signal indicating that it might be a time for the investor to sell the shares as the MACD line dropped below the signal line. For Relative Strength Index, from 7 June until 15 July, that is demonstrate that there is no signal of overvaluation or undervaluations. For moving average, on 7 June, the moving average rising above the average price is indicate bullish trend. For support and resistance, the support price is RM 0.25, lower than the resistance price is RM 0.27. For the resistance volume is 26.5, greater than the support volume is 11.9.
Portfolio trading involves trading asset as single entity, lowering transaction costs, raising liquidity, and making trading large amounts more accessible. It gains traction in fixed income markets and equity markets, enabling trading of large portfolio of bond and funds basket linked by industry or place. However, it faces challenges like securing fair price and heightened market risk due to the influence of large assets. Proper hedges are necessary to limit this risk. 100,000 has been invested in five selected companies: Apex Healthcare, Bumi Armada, Bonia, FSBM, and Spritzer. Each company has contributed 2,000 ringgit in capital. The graph represents Apex Healthcare as Kota Industry with 6 ringgit cash available at value 2,637. The percentage change is 3.37%, which is the largest among the others company. The lowest is Apollo Food, representing Spritzer in this rating, with a negative 7.07%, which is the percentage change, indicating that the firm did not do well. It also has 122 ringgit in cash. The total amount collected is 18,473 ringgit. Bumi Armada represents Dayang Holding, whereas Vestec Berhad is representing FSBM Berhad with cash available of 59 ringgit and 50 cent and 3,238.5 ringgit, and the value of 20,188 and 17,013 ringgit. The percentage change are 1.24% and 1.50% respectively. Portfolio trading is a complex activity that requires careful planning and execution. It helps asset managers and investors reduce market effect, improve liquidity, reduce risk, and enhance efficiency. Analyzing trading performance using industrial, economic, fundamental, and technical indicators help determine resource allocation, industry structure, competitive dynamics, and future possibility. Fundamental analysis identify undervalue or overvalue assets, while technical analysis analyze financial market data to forecast future price movement.